Every few seconds, a new player wakes up on the islands of Rust. While each one will experience a different story, one thing will always remain the same. You need to raid your enemies before they raid you. And if you can't raid your enemies, you better have one hell of a base. Hey there, my name's Zypic, and over the next few minutes, I'm going to use my 7,000 hours of Rust building knowledge to teach you a little more about those fancy Rust base designs that you see all over YouTube. And I've tried to condense this to give something new to every level of player. So if you have 10 hours or 10,000, you should find something. And trust me, there's no better feeling than waking up to a secure base after someone's attempted to offline raid you. So sit back, relax, drop a like on the video because I'll be watching, and without further ado, let's get into our first topic of the video, layouts. Building a good layout is crucial and it'll set you up for the peak downs later on. If you can keep the whole base symmetrical. You could do 2, 3, 4, or even more sides of symmetry, it all depends on the core. And you can also have multiple cores to split up loot and increase the raid cost. For example, even though these bunkers have only one layer of honeycomb to the outside, they're non-splashable, so the raider has to choose one side or the other. So in my opinion, it's better to have staggered loot rooms around your base rather than one stacked core where a raider could take everything all at once. While we're talking about layouts, I want to quickly bring up raised foundations and the bunkers that they entail. Try to stay away from raised foundations altogether unless you really need them for a specific type of bunker. A raised foundation will take the place of 2 walls. And if a raider can find where your raised foundations are, they can go through your base in half the time and half the explosives. Plus, there's a ton more downsides I didn't even mention, so just stay away. Another thing to be cautious of is building the classic 2x2 layouts. These are okay for short-term starter bases, but once you have to expand, it's time to move out. Incorporate some triangles into your layouts, and I promise your bases will be significantly stronger. Speaking of stronger, let's talk about bunkers. If you've watched any of my Rust builds before, you'll know I love building 2 specific ones. One of those being the classic staircase stability bunker. Unfortunately, this does not work on console, but if you're playing on console Rust, don't worry, the next bunker is for you. To build the spiral stair bunker, you just need 2 half walls like this, and then you can build in the drop down. Also, you should know for this bunker to work, you cannot use a half-height floor tile as a jump up, so you'll see instead I like to use 3 furnaces. Now when you're ready to seal the bunker, you could place a floor tile like this through the half walls, followed by your spiral triangle staircase. Now depending on your resources, upgrade it to either metal or armored, and you'll have a great bunker leading into your core. Now this bunker is great, but it doesn't work on console. Let me show you my second favorite bunker that does. That of course being the vending machine loot room bunker. These bunkers work in literally every type of base, and you don't even need a hammer to open or close them. Here's how to build one. Flip it around so you don't see the window, then center the vending machine in your triangle, then line it up with the innermost line of the foundation's border and place. Now you can safely loot all 4 boxes, and to close it, simply rotate the vending machine back to the outside. You can also throw a single door, armored or metal on top of this, just to add a little extra protection. Now, let's just take a few seconds to discuss raid cost. It's important when building your door path that it's the same cost as going through one of the walls. It's easiest if you look at the base from a bird's eye view, then if you find any weaknesses or shortcuts, you can easily patch them up to ensure the same raid cost no matter what side of the base the raider goes through. And especially on larger bases, please do not forget to upgrade your top-down raid cost as well. So while you're already up there fixing your roof, let's talk about peak downs. To be honest, this could be a whole video on its own, but I'm going to try to summarize by saying the best way to make peak downs for any base is by using wall frames. I want to say every base for the past year that I've designed uses wall frames to hold up its peak downs. That's because it just gives you so many options. You can simply add peak downs to any base and any layout. So if you're ever questioning how you should build some sort of peak, add a few extra foundations on the outside of the base, then you can follow that up by adding in some wall frames up to the top. Leave yourself enough space to play with some square and triangle roof tiles, and try to create some large gaps that you can't fall through. It's almost impossible to find a base that this doesn't work for, so just mess around with it until you find something that you like. Essentially, avoid all of the old-fashioned peak downs with basic single doors, or anything that people could ladder, boost, or jump into. Trust me when I say if there's a weakness in your peak down floor, the grubs of rust will find it. Now, most of the information I've shared in this video was pretty basic if you're an experienced builder. So for those veterans out there, here's a few things that I've found in the last few years of building that you may not know. Let's start it off by clearing up the common misconception that you can splash a garage door if the roller is sticking through another door or a wall. Spoiler alert, no splash items can damage the inside garage door, which means it doesn't matter which way you place them. This is an older trick, but here's a quick way to store vending machine loot on your roof safely. The only risk using this method is if someone decides to ladder up to your roof and commit to picking either a metal or armored wall. You'll notice the vending machine is no longer accessible since I placed it so far back against the wall, and the only way to open it is if you have TC privilege, and then you can build in a triangle roof piece off the back side. Also, if you like what you see and you want to watch more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free and it only takes one click. The next tip is something I found and I haven't seen anywhere on YouTube. Let's say someone's upstairs in your base and you want to lock them out or open the door to let them in. If you have one of the DLC building skins, you can upgrade the roof, and as the texture changes, spam E and the door upstairs will open. And it works with any grade including metal. Just be aware that if you have a stone wall frame underneath, you'll need to upgrade it to metal first. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to tag me in your base designs if you create anything cool, and I'll see you in the next one.